Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Covering both sides of the big issues with the analysis you trust on News Radio 1040 WHO.
There's a key factor here that is going on that I can talk to you about as we discuss this polling a little bit later in the show. But I also wanted to highlight today that Governor Kim Reynolds is joining other governors around the nation and asking that President Joe Biden meet with her and other governors on this border crisis. You have seen the video of the Haitian migrants under the bridge in Del Rio, Texas. Fox News reporting this morning that there are maybe 12,000 of these migrants under the bridge from Haiti. And we'll talk about how they got here, what the situation is. Naim Haroon Sakhia is with me, and Naim is an expert in the area of immigration law. He's practiced in various federal courts. He's also been involved with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. And Naim is on the Newsmaker line this morning. Naim, welcome to Iowa Radio. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Naim, how did this situation develop? You know, sometimes when we're monitoring the news, all of a sudden you have a huge crisis like this with the Haitians under the bridge in Texas, and listeners just say, how did this develop? In your experience, how do situations like this develop?
Right. So let me give you a historical perspective. There's something called temporary protected status. Is given to those countries or nationals of those countries where a calamity, a natural disaster, or severe political unrest, some kind of severe situation has occurred. And if the citizens of those countries are already in the United States in various visa situations, the U.S. Department basically makes a decision that these individuals will not be sent back to their home country because of that severe situation. Haiti was given that status in May of this year because of the political situation going on over there and the earthquakes. Prior to that, back in 2010, they also had that kind of situation. So people who were in Haiti at that time, who left Haiti, some of them stopped in Central America, started living there, some made into the United States, and they were given this temporary protected status. There was a rumor going on among those Haitians that if you were to make the United States, because of the August 4, 2021 earthquake, they were hoping that a temporary protected status will be extended to those individuals as well who make into U.S. now. So they were trying to enter the U.S. before this new temporary protected status, which is not officially confirmed, but they were hoping that it will allow them to be able to stay in the United States if they were to able to make it to U.S. So that's why there was a sudden surge. And you can appreciate the fact that just this Saturday, there were 15,000 people under the bridge. A week before that, there were only 400. So in a span of 1 week, about 15,000 people showed up at the border.
And Naim, a lot of listeners are asking how they got there. Is this the same situation we sometimes hear from those that cross the border, where there are people being paid to bring them here? Or did they just walk as a group from South America and they entered the country as a group? What's your experience and how this suddenly builds to this crisis level?
Yeah, so what we're hearing from different sources, including Associated Press, that a lot of them have paid smugglers quite a handsome amount of money. Like they were talking, AP reporter was talking to a gentleman from Haiti who traveled from Chile, perhaps, to the border with his wife and child. He was complaining that he has paid $12,000 to smugglers who transported him over here based on misinformation, and now he's being sent back to Haiti. So it looks like there's a variety of mechanisms they have used, but the thing is, and which is a distinguishing factor from other people who are trying to come in from other countries, these individuals, for the most part, had been offered a resettlement in other countries after they left Haiti several years ago. So they are not really qualified to claim asylum, and that's why they are being sent back on flights which are being chartered from the United States to Haiti.
And Naim, I think you're putting your finger there. Everybody wants to know why the backup, why just people are sitting there maybe 12,000, as of this morning under the bridge, and we're just trying to deal with them. Is that the backup that they came here, they expected a hearing, and we have to decide what to do with them? Is there any way we can speed up the process and really deal with this crowd? This is, of course, a humanitarian and a public health crisis there. What do we need to do to be able to get some control here?
Yeah, so what had happened is last Thursday, there was a ruling from a federal court in the D.C. area that people who are showing up with children should not be turned back. Remember, the U.S. government is using Title 42 public health regulations to turn these individuals back, because that Title 42 authority gives the immigration officials capacity to turn back people who have been through those countries where there's pandemic going on, COVID-19 being the latest one. So that authority is there. They're utilizing that. Now, the federal judge said that people who are showing up with kids should not be turned back, but that ruling has delayed for 15 days to become effective. So the U.S. government is trying very hard to send these individuals back on charter planes. And I think for the most part they are being successful, because between Sunday and Monday they were able to remove 3,000 individuals. And they have said that within the next 1 week, they'll be able to clear all 15,000. 3,000 has already been sent back, 12,000 on the way, and this is how they're trying to control it.
He is an expert in the area of immigration law, and he's worked under the umbrella of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, so he is the right person to talk about that. This is Naim Haroon Sakhia, and Naim, thanks very much for your expertise on this particular issue.